I'd like to welcome you to WCPT AM's Out Chicago. Think of us as Sunday brunch with your gay best friends. Now, please welcome your host, Ellen Miller.
And good morning, everybody. Smoke 'em if you have 'em. I guess we've all had 'em this week, whether we like it or not.
It's scary.
Welcome now to Chicago. Scott is having a well-deserved day off, and I'm sitting in the host seat today. And if you just heard that voice, you may recognize the lovely and talented news veteran, 30-year news veteran, and my lovely wife, Kathy Voltmer.
Hi, honey.
Hi, co-pilot.
Hi, everybody. It's so good to be here. We're always saying to Scott, you need to take more time off so I can be on the show more. So he decided to take a day off.
He did.
And he deserves it, and I'm so happy he's doing that. And he gave us a little assist with some of the bookings, so that was awesome. Thank you, Scott.
It's all good. We're going to have a great show today, of course. We're going to be speaking to Chicago country crooner Andrew Saw about his new album, American Rough. Then after the news, we'll have Tim Rhoze, the artistic director of Fleetwood-Jourdain Theatre, to talk about their upcoming production in the Continuum. Then we'll welcome director J.D. Cottle to tell us about Yo-Ho from the always adventurous Babes with Blades Theater Company. You can find us on Facebook Live, on the WCPT and Out Chicago Facebook pages, and at heartlandsignal.com. You can also call us or text us if you feel like you don't want to have your voice on the air, but you have something to say and you want us to hear about it. You can do that at 773-763-9278. Do give us a call. We're looking forward to your calls today. And Kathy Voltmer.
Hi.
Hi, honey. I mean, hello, Kathy Voltmer.
You're always like, oh, what did you do this week? Well, we did everything together.
We did everything together.
So you don't really have to ask me. For folks who don't know, I was on the radio in Chicago for about 30 years. My longest stint.
Is that all?
Ellen and I met at XRT, but my longest stint was at The Drive for 15 years.
Mm-hmm. From the beginning, when they started.
Yeah, I was the second live voice on the air at The Drive, the classic rock station. The first live voice on the air was Bob Stroud, and I wanted to give a shout out to him before I forget, because he retired this week, and he is one of the greatest. He is one of the goats of Chicago radio. And we saw him this week and raised a glass and paid a little tribute, and it was fantastic. I hope he has a wonderful, bright retirement ahead. I don't know what he's going to do without anything to do.
And he's a heck of a nice guy, too.
He's the best.
He and his wife, Diane, are lovely people.
If you're listening, Bob, we're going to have you over for dinner here sometime soon.
Promise.
As soon as we find a day.
We promise. So we've had a busy week. You know, we were very fortunate to be able to do the things we do. And we celebrated our 15th anniversary a week later because we were kind of doing other things last weekend, but we celebrated by going to Top Chef Season 23 contestant Seeger Bayer's new wonderful speakeasy style restaurant. I guess it's been open about 2 years, but it feels new. We got to experience something very unique Friday night as a celebration, and we can't talk enough about what a wonderful experience this was.
It was one of the coolest nights of dining I think I've ever enjoyed, or at least that I can remember. I just loved it. It was our 15th anniversary dinner. We've been together 31 years. Anybody who's listened knows the story. I don't want to bore you. But we were just kind of waiting to do something special. And it's intimate. It's this underground supper club. They text you the location and some suggested wine pairings the week of.
And we're sworn to secrecy on the location.
Yes, but it's exquisite food. The vibe is perfect. It's like being at the best dinner party you can ever imagine. It is just the coolest.
Truly. We were seated with a really nice couple from Berwyn, Jeff and Shauna. You know, the real icebreaker was Patty Vasquez, a couple, it's been a while I've had these. She brought some samples from Minocqua Brewing because we love Minocqua Brewing. They're fighting the good fight for the progressive cause. And I had a bottle of a can of Nope, and it's Nope with Trump's picture on it.
It's like a play on Hope, the Obama slogan, but it says no with Trump's face on it.
And I just had a feeling the couple sitting next to us might be in agreement on how we feel. So I showed them.
It would have been a long dinner party.
It really would.
If they didn't agree with us.
I figure if you're there and you're this guy, if you're adventurous enough to do this dinner party. So I kind of showed them the can, and that broke the ice right away. We just had a ball with them. It's like-minded people, obviously, here in Chicago, and especially having an experience like that. But they were wonderful to talk. I mean, all of a sudden, we got there at 7:30. It was like 11:30.
Yeah, 4 hours, 8 courses, a complimentary app, and they encourage you to hang out after you eat while they clean up, so you can just chill and talk to them. They tour their gardens. They have cool gardens. They have chickens. Oh my God, it was amazing.
It's in Logan Square, and we hung out and had a little post party with Seeger and Emily,
and his chef partner Emily, and also Jeff,
and Jeff,
one of their partners.
And Emily, from the minute we walked in the door, she seated us at a high top at first, and I cannot sit at a high top, and she didn't miss a beat. Thankfully, she moved us to the table where we met Jeff and Shauna, which turned out to be just fabulous. And then we were, of course, the last ones to leave.
We always are, every party. That's a warning if you ever invite us anywhere.
We love chefs and we love food. So anyway,
we used to collect chefs.
We used to collect them. We have a new
Seeger and Emily.
And Emily, look out. Anyway, it's called Barbaria, and you can go on there. I think you can just Google it, and we made our reservation through Talk. You pay in advance. But anyway, we talked about sitting at the table about community.
That we have to, in this troubled time, find a lot of things that bring us joy. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that bring us joy is great food and community, being able to talk to each other about positive things and things that matter.
Yeah.
And the community also can include, theater or music. And we experienced some great live theater this week, too.
We sure did. We saw, we were at the press opening of Octet, which, of course, started at Raven. It was so fantastic, and it's high demand for tickets that the Goodman picked it up and moved it into the Owen Theater.
It's so inventive. It's an a cappella musical. If you're a little freaked out by a cappella music, some people are. Trust me, it's so accessible. It depicts an emotional support group, 8 characters who are gathering because they're in the midst of a spiritual crisis caused by technology, toxic relationships to the internet. And some of it hit very close to home.
Yeah, a couple of the opening monologues, especially about the light glowing in bed when we're laying in bed or with your partner. I looked at Kathy and we looked at each other like, okay, yikes. Guilty.
Sometimes you're laughing out loud, and sometimes you're freaked out, and sometimes you're like, oh my God, this is me. And our online experiences are so interwoven into every aspect of what we do that it's very easy to get addicted. So the musical is about our societal addiction to technology and all the things that it can cause, like isolation and loneliness, and just how to kind of work around that and triumph over that and again come to this connection and community.
Yeah, it's a real mirror. It holds up a mirror to people than most of us that have. Look, I'm not going to deny it. We're on that phone all the time. Part of it is, as a real estate agent, that's my whole world is my phone. If someone wants to get in touch with me, if a showing, a client, whatever, it's on my phone. So every time I open it, there's, of course, something flashes about what Ding Dong has done or something else, and just totally draws you into, okay, well, I got to look further into this, and before you know it, you're 20 minutes of scrolling and doom scrolling, but it's really I think it's a brilliant production, and apparently I'm not the only one that thinks it's brilliant, because
Lin-Manuel Miranda is making a musical out of it. I don't know the timeline, I don't know anything else about it, but we did hear that. The internet can do some good things, too. A lot of people are listening to the show on the internet right now. And the internet has made the world smaller for people who are, for example, LGBTQ+, who don't have a whole lot of community in their own neighborhoods. It has created a positive online community for a lot of folks for a lot of years. But there's also a dark side, and that's what this musical looks at. And I cannot remember when I was this excited about a musical. So what a great week. We've had a great dining experience and a great musical. We also saw another show last night, which was fantastic.
We went to see Candy Theater production, their production of Hair. And okay, so I'm of a certain age where when I was a kid, I wore the grooves out on the original soundtrack album of Hair. I mean, I think I was 12, and I know every word pretty much to most every song in here. And you know, when you're young and you hear music, like you don't forget it. You know, it's now I forget, I can't remember anything to save my life.
Did it feel like a flashback to growing up, to your youth?
Oh, absolutely. I'm in the bedroom. I I got my little record player, and I am listening to that album, and just, you know, because that album, you know, it was a musical. And the songs were like being played on WLS and WCFL and Top 40 radio. The theme, the title song "Hair" by the Cowsills.
Oh yeah,
that was a huge hit.
Right. And Good
Morning Starshine. Another one. This is the dawn. And
yeah,
I mean, The Fifth Dimension. I mean, these songs were huge.
And they
hits.
still are. They still have held up. They've withstood the test of time.
They totally have. And it's a really, oh my gosh, I think I counted 16 or 17 cast members. It's it's kind of an in the round situation. There are audience members on all sides. The actors are up close and personal. If you're sitting where we were, you know, on the riser up from the main floor. And it's just, it brings you back. And I was wondering how many people watching this are hearing some of these, you know, songs for the first time. I mean, not the hits.
Judging by the age of the crowd, I don't know.
Well, there are a lot of young,
some of the other songs.
Some of the other songs, yeah. Because there's a lot of great songs. Frank Mills, I love that song. I mean, you know, White Boys, Black Boys. There's some just
right.
It's so many. But
the theme of some of the things felt a little dated to me, though the production was brilliant.
Yeah.
But what didn't feel dated is the theme of protesting and standing up for the counterculture and for the government. I love that this production used a number of trans characters, because when you look at the activists of our time, when you look at the people who are fighting the government at this time and have the most to lose, a lot of those people are LGBTQ plus and most notably trans. And I love that this production focused on that. I thought it was great.
It did. I mean, the indignation of the government was a familiar theme then, and it's a familiar theme now. You know, when they were talking about the FBI and the president and all the things that they were, you know, the military being drafted. Obviously, that's the key theme. One of the main themes is getting drafted in that era, where I was just young enough where my friends weren't getting drafted, but brothers, older brothers of friends were, and it makes you think, like, could that happen again? Yeah, you know, as we're in this, who knows what, potentially never-ending war in Iran. It's a whole other subject. But, you know, the protest, standing up for counterculture is an enduring theme, as Kathy said. And they really did highlight the fight for trans rights, which was a really relevant update. And I'm glad they did that. And many of the cast members were, you know, were non-binary and, you know,
it was great. And, by the way, we ran into Delia Kropp last night.
We did.
A great performer and activist for the trans community. And I remember seeing Delia in a play years ago. She said it was 10 years ago. I Am My Own Wife, with our own Scott Duff as well.
Yes.
And it was great. It was wonderful to see her. It's always fun to see people at theater and just go out and watch live theater, especially with the smoke that's in the air. I can't think of anything better to do than go see a play.
Oh, it took us by surprise on Thursday morning. The smoke, that is. I did manage also to get over to Wrigley Field because, as you know, I'm a big Cub fan, and they did a dedication called the Gate of Champions, and it is a huge gate. You know, it's like a steel structure, and they have plaques inside.
It's a gate to Gallagher Way.
To Gallagher Way, I should say, yes, on Clark Street. And I had a really good spot. I kind of was standing in back of the podium, so the speakers had their back to me, but I could see all of the players. And it was the 2016 team. Most of the players, there's a couple players that are still active, like Kyle Schwarber that we traded away, unfortunately, let him go, free agent, whatever happened there. Dumb. He's one of the, you know, still one of the home run kings of Major League Baseball. But talk about joy, you know. Yeah. It brought back those great memories of the 2016 World Series season. I was up close and personal with Rizzo and Zobrist and just so many of the players, John Lester, Jake Arrieta, and it just brought a lot of joy,
We are maybe sometimes not deliberately, but we're doing whatever we can in this troubled time to find our joy. I mean, we've just talked about 3 huge things that we did this week that just brought us so much levity and lightness in the dark and through the smoke and all this other stuff going on. I really encourage everybody to try to do that, even if it's just taking your dog for a walk. Well, maybe not now, or going to see a great movie, or just doing something that can get you away from this. As someone who did news for many years on Chicago radio for 30 plus years, we tend to marinate in this stuff, and it is not healthy. We have to stay. It's a challenge. We have to stay committed, and we have to stay informed, but we also cannot marinate it and let it bring us down all the time, because it very easily, again, back to what we were talking about with Octet, it's very easy to just doom scroll and stay in that space. We have to work maybe a little harder now to bring ourselves out of that space and bring ourselves some joy.
We do. I don't know how many times we get together with friends and after a few, cocktails or whatever, it's like, it always goes back to, ding dong, dear leader, what going through. But when we were sitting next to the couple at Barbaria, did I pronounce it right?
Yeah, Jeff and Shauna,
he had some, and they were clearly 20 or 30 years younger than I am, but he had some optimism that really gave me hope. And I was happy to hear that we're not, instead of just talking about woe is us and how horrible things are, he found some signs of positivity and hope for the future. And I'm like, good. I'm glad you have some. I'm going to take a little piece of that and carry it with me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We should mention Octet only runs at the Goodman through the 26th.
No, actually, it's been extended. I just looked.
Fantastic.
It is going through August 2nd.
I love that. I hope it gets extended again, because I wish everybody could see it. And Hair as well, but you have more time for that.
Yeah,
it's at the Chopin Theater, Cocandy Productions, through September 13th.
Yeah, when I was watching both of these plays, I was thinking of my 18 and 20-year-old nephews, and I'm like, I want them to see these, both of these shows. And so it's a great, if you have kids of that age, teenagers, young adults, both of these shows, I think, could be really informative for them in so many ways.
I mean, Hair is of its time, but it is also timeless. And Octet, for sure.
Social
media, the internet, that's going to be a problem for years to come.
So lots of great stuff out there. We are going to take a break, but before we do, I think Kathy has a word.
Looking to purchase a home or refinance your existing home? Call Team Hochberg, your trusted local lender with nearly 800 five-star Google reviews, like this one from Chuck. My wife and I, Chuck writes, were looking to purchase a condo to be near our grandchildren, and we weren't sure where to begin. So we contacted Team Hochberg, who did an excellent job. David Hochberg was a breath of fresh air. No baloney and very transparent, which was refreshing. He knows his stuff like the back of his hand. No gimmicks, no BS. Thank you, David. Let's review. Chuck and his wife wanted to move closer to their grandchildren, so they contacted Team Hochberg. David answered their questions and helped them purchase a condo near the people they love most, their grandkids. If you want the same outstanding service Chuck, his wife, and thousands of WCPT listeners received, call Team Hochberg 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. That number again, 855-563-2843. Or visit that website you know and love, 56david.com. ACM, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 643114.
You got it. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back on Out Chicago.
This is a WCPT Civil Rights Snapshot. Earl Lloyd was the star of West Virginia State's basketball team, leading them to 2 championship games in 1948 and 1949. Due to Lloyd's success, he was drafted by the Washington Capitals in the 9th round, and on October 31st, 1950, Lloyd became the first black player to play in the NBA. Joining an all-white team was intimidating, but my teammates were immediately welcoming, said Lloyd on the experience. However, some fans, even some commentators, were not so kind, one even using a racial slur during Lloyd's first game. Lloyd spent 9 seasons playing in the NBA, ending his career with the Detroit Pistons in 1970. After playing, Lloyd stayed in Detroit, becoming a scout and then later an assistant coach of the Detroit Pistons before breaking the color barrier again, becoming the first black head coach in the NBA. Lloyd was inducted into the NBA Hall of Fame in 2003. Please stay vigilant about our civil rights. The fight is never over.
This summer, celebrate music, community, and unforgettable nights under the stars at Ravinia. Experience Brandi Carlile, Grace Jones and Janelle Monáe, Hugh Jackman, and Chance the Rapper, plus performances from the Chicago Symphony Orchestra all season long. Live music, iconic artists, and summer nights await in Highland Park. Tickets are on sale now at ravinia.org.
Where are they now with Art and Bobby, Saturdays at 10 a.m.
I got a question for Jorianne about Patty. Are we getting the Honey Bears back someday?
Wait a minute,
Hang on.
Hey, you guys are supposed to have your own show, Patty.
Oh.
Whether it's a podcast or whatever it is.
That's a good idea. Now you've got me going.
I got goosebumps all over my whole body. My whole body is full of goosebumps.
What would the Honey Bear podcast be called?
I got it. Honey Pants.
Where are they now? Two guys that grew up in Chicago, just like Richie Z.
Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Welcome back. I'm writer and activist Stacey Anshin. You are listening to Out Chicago on WCPT 820.
You are indeed listening to Out Chicago. And I'm sitting in for Scott today, Ellen Miller. With me is Kathy Voltmer.
Hi, everybody. Don't forget that Monday on Choose Views, Richard Choose guests are Sarah Jones, co-publisher at Politicus USA and the Daily Politicus, also Sky Perryman, president and CEO of Democracy Forward, and Mike Nellis, Democratic strategist and host of Endless Urgency with Mike Nellis. Also this week on the show, Iowa State Senator Caitlin Trey, Illinois House Majority Leader Robin Gable, North Carolina Democratic Party Chair Anderson Clayton, and Rick Smith, host of The Rick Smith Show on WCPT. That's Choose Views, weekdays from 6 to 8 a.m. Central on WCPT 820 a.m., the Heartland Signal website, TuneIn, YouTube, and Facebook.
You got it. So we were treated, I use that word very sarcastically.
We're just talking about not marinating and all the negativity, but we have
Here we go.
We'll just take a dip.
We're
not going to marinate. We'll just take a little dip.
Before I do that, I do want to remind listeners, give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. 773-763-9278. What's on your mind? It could be something we're talking about. It could be something you want us to talk about. We're here for you. Give us a call. 773-763-9278. So, as I was saying, thankfully we were at Octet.
Okay.
And we did not have to deal with, well, I tuned in when I got home a little bit because I'm curious.
Had to watch it.
Thankfully, ABC and NBC did not run it. Apparently, CBS did cave in the end. And
I'm not surprised CBS caved. Look what's going on there.
I couldn't believe that we heard in the first place they weren't going to run it because, you know, it's a lying propaganda show. Why we've been through this. This has been litigated. Of course, Ding Dong is up there trying to pre-steal the midterms. Is how I look at it.
Of course he is. I'm so worried about this. But among the things he talked about was they declassified a number of election documents and released them. They allege they were outlining vulnerabilities in the U.S. election system, but the documents did not do that at all. They were so heavily redacted. The findings were unclear. It did not say anything. But, you know, he throws all this stuff up against the wall. His followers, his disciples, do not check it or fact check it. And so they think he's declassified all these documents and they prove something. He also made claims about China interference in the election, saying they acquired something like 220 million American voter files. He also said the CIA suppressed intelligence regarding China's efforts to influence the election. There's no, again, this is baseless. There's no evidence. If they interfered, it was on his behalf, not on any other behalf. He also once again threw out these baseless claims of non-citizens voting. He said he threw out this number, 278,000 non-citizens registered to vote in federal elections. He said, lie. They have never provided details about this. They just make the claims. People who don't do their homework think the claims are real. Once again, he pushed for this dumb Save America Act, this fascist voter suppression bill, strongly urging Congress to pass it. It would require proof of U.S. citizenship to register and mandate voter ID at the polls. And as we know, it would disenfranchise so many people. And then he had the nerve to frame election integrity as his top priority ahead of the midterms. Election integrity, he wouldn't know if it hit him in the face.
Of course he wouldn't.
It's so 1984, the George Orwell, so Orwellian, because what he says is the opposite of what's going on. But, people are still believing him.
No evidence did he bring out. In fact, the release of the information, which is all old information regarding the 2020 election and other elections, the 2016, apparently in some of the documents that he released, one of them actually was the one that we heard about where they said, yes, Russia tried to use Hunter Biden and as that they interfered in the election.
Right.
And the Hunter Biden thing that they tried to do, which was all proven to be false.
Right.
And they're so dumb, they released that. And that was, of course, for him. They were trying
if there was interference, it was for him, basically.
And of course, did he mention, was there any interference in the 2024 or 2016 when he won?
No.
The guy is in his, he's reading that monotone voice. He's just a vacant, lying cheater. He's a cheater. He's a cheater. And, the other thing is a lot of people wonder if they did a little cheating themselves. They say how, you can get into these machines. Well, some people think Elon Musk did get into the voting machines.
I think Elon Musk got into the voting machines. My opinion only, but I do think there's...
For the 2024 election.
Yeah.
It's just mind-blowing to hear him spew the lies. I'm telling you, these pundits, I was watching a podcast and they were doing in real time. Yeah. They could not fact check him fast enough. Yeah. Almost every sentence out of his mouth was a blatant lie.
I just wonder if every time he opens his mouth in events like this, if he is not alienating. I mean, there still are some voters who are kind of middle of the road, who aren't his, 30% that are never going to change their mind. I wonder if he's alienating those people by going on and just spewing all this diarrhea of the mouth stuff about all his made up conspiracy theories.
I hope he is.
I know.
I mean, if, obviously his poll numbers continue to go down.
Plummet. He doesn't talk about anything that really has anything to do with the American people and how we live.
No, he started this war on a gut feeling. We lost 2 more service people, I understand, in the last 24 hours, and injured many when a base was bombed, a U.S. base. He's out golfing.
Yeah.
He doesn't talk about the, that's a little pain you have to feel. These people that believed in him are hurting. Mm-hmm. There's a war, which is having an impact on our economy, on supply and demand, on prices. Look at the problem with the raging diarrhea.
Oh, well, yes.
I mean, again, we can point to the Doge cuts.
Lack of inspectors.
Lack of oversight.
We're going to be seeing more and more things like that, sadly, because they made so many deep cuts to federal protections. The government is not always there to hurt you. The government's there to help you when it comes to things like this. Food safety, top among them, or water safety, top among them.
You can fool some of the people some of the time, but even his former supporters are feeling the effects. And we said when Kamala lost, until they feel it themselves, because we knew what was going to happen. Those of us that, don't trust him.
Right.
Those that trusted him, America first, no more wars, no more, they are the ones that are finally, sadly, they're feeling it in the worst possible way.
But is that causing them to turn on him? That's my question here.
Again, hearkening back to our dinner with Top Chef finalist, top 5 finalist, Singer Bayer, there are family members, none of mine, thank goodness, but our friends that were sitting with us, who said, yeah, my brother feels, he made him, he wish he hadn't voted for him. But my question is, what are you going to do next time? Mm-hmm. What are you going to do next time when one of his disciples is running?
I don't know.
Yes, you're feeling
Marco Rubio, it's looking like now.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's a real gem. Sold his soul to the devil. Every time I see him, he looks like he's in a hostage video, doesn't he?
He does.
I mean, really? The
He
look on
does.
his face, either that or he's got that, what's it called?
Cyclospore.
He's got that ready to erupt. And there's one of the two is happening. But this is my question to people. If you voted for this man and now you're feeling, betrayed by the lies, are you going to really think about the next person you put in that office, even if it's a Democrat?
It probably depends on who the candidate is. Some of these people are so racist.
That remains to be seen.
They'll never vote for a minority or woman or a person of color. They'll never do it.
No,
Never.
I know. It's I don't want to cry.
Don't cry.
I won't cry. There's no crying in radio. Okay, so let's talk for a moment about the lovely Pete Hegseth's plan to screen military members for low testosterone. What the F is going on here? Okay.
I hate to laugh because it's terrible, but that's
sick.
all you can do. It's just
sick.
so dumb.
He announced the other day that they're going to test service members over the age of 30. They're going to screen them for testosterone deficiency.
And give them the option, I think, if you're over 30, to take shots.
To take shots. But
everybody has to be screened.
Everybody's got to be screened. And they want them to operate at their very absolute best.
It is so ridiculous. If you look at most medical groups that came out to talk about this, they oppose routine screening if you're healthy. They say it can cause overtreatment, misdiagnosis, a lot of health risks, including infertility and blood clots and heart issues. Not to mention these hypocrites who are talking about funding testosterone care and then banning transgender service members and halting transition-related hormone therapy. Those hypocrites. Low T in troops, as I was reading, usually comes from stress and sleep deprivation and fatigue, which everybody is encountering, and it's temporary. And if you change the hormone number, if you give people T, it really doesn't fix the underlying issues. And also, these, misogynistic pigs. The mandatory policy includes women over 30. There's no FDA-approved treatment for T therapies for women.
They haven't given the details on the female service members yet. This is yet to be announced. So we'll be waiting anxiously to hear about that.
I wonder if this will just fall by the wayside like a lot of other things that these people, they talk about it, they talk a good game, so they look tough, and then it just falls by the wayside because everybody talks them out of it when they realize how stupid it is.
Pete Hegseth operates like he is in a war movie, like he is in a movie.
Yeah.
Like he's General Patton. I mean, he is his ego and his insanity. I mean, he's quoting Bible verses. He's come up with this testosterone plan. He yelled at the member several months ago, and he called everybody in for the big meeting and said he's going to drum out the fat. All you officers that are fat, overweight and out of shape, we don't want you. I mean, it's crazy.
And he has just demonstrated, I guess, by the day how, misogynistic and racist this military is under, the Trump administration. It's terrible.
Yes. Every day, something new that we are doom scrolling.
I know.
And, the thing, too, is the minute I hear about, this Pete Hegseth's new policy on testosterone or, of course, Trump's speech the other night, I start looking for podcasts to dive into it. I need to learn more about it, even though I know pretty much it says it all.
So
pretty
one thing
transparent.
people don't know is she stays up all night listening to podcasts.
Don't tell our secrets.
I have to.
Not all night, just,
What are you learning from these late night podcasts that you don't know already?
I learned that they make me go to sleep quickly. If I have someone talking to me, and I have these new, the new Apple earbuds. They notice when you start falling asleep and they stop the show. Sometimes I wake up listening to something totally different because apparently they just keep going to the next podcast.
Okay.
But yeah, I know it's a bad habit. I just saw
you have to be informed for the radio show, but it's a fine line. It's a fine line.
It is a fine line, and I need to do better. But as we age, sometimes something called insomnia sets in, and we do what we can to prevent it. Anyway, we're going to take a break and go on to something really positive and really fun.
Much more fun.
And change the subject completely. Andrew Saw is going to come on. He's going to talk about his latest record on Bloodshot Records. I am so excited for him. He's a fantastic singer and now songwriter. I think some of the songs are original. We'll find out when you get him on here.
Getting raised for the new album.
We will have Andrew on right after this commercial break. You're listening to WCPT, where facts really do matter.
You know that you can listen to Chicago's Progressive Talk on WCPT AM 820. Stream us live at WCPT820.com and on the TuneIn Radio app. Or you can ask Alexa, Siri, or Google to play WCPT from TuneIn. But now you have another option. We're simulcasting our programming overnights. 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. on WSBC AM 1240 for a clearer reception in and around the city. Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT 820. And now overnights on WSBC 1240 AM, where facts matter.
Hi, this is Tom Hartman. Sandra is a 73-year-old widow with $1.4 million in retirement savings. In 2025, she took her first required minimum distribution. That RMD pushed her into a higher bracket, increased her Medicare premiums, and caused $31,000 in needless taxes. Her advisor doesn't handle taxes, and her accountant only prepares returns. She felt alone and neglected. Sandra then met with Brookfield Tax Planning for a free, objective, second opinion tax review. They showed Sandra how she could legally reduce required minimum distribution and other taxes by over $13,000 this year and every year with lower Medicare premiums. Think about what you could do with all that extra money. Schedule a free, no-obligation second opinion tax review now. Once 2026 is over, tax savings opportunities are gone. Schedule your free review now. Visit BrookfieldTaxPlanning.com or call 708-485-3439. That's BrookfieldTaxPlanning.com, 708-485-3439.
This is WCPT telling you how you can shop blue. Whether you're out in the field playing football or baseball, or inside the stadium playing hockey or basketball, or any sport really, let's take a look at some sporting goods stores that support the Democratic Party. Academy. Now, Academy as a company does not give to politics. Some of their senior leaders do, and in 2024, 87% of their donations went to Democrats. Hibbett. Now, Hibbett as a company does not give to politics, but some of their senior leaders do, and in 2024, 93% of those donations went to Democrats. Dick's Sporting Goods. Now, Dick's Sporting Goods as a company does not give to politics. Yes, some of their senior leaders do, and it's kind of a little all over. Sometimes lean more right, sometimes lean more left. It's really hard to find a pattern. But hey, remember when the right was attacking Dick's Sporting Goods when they decided to push the age of purchasing firearms to 21 and stop selling assault-styled rifles? This has been WCPT telling you how you can shop blue.
WCPT Replay.
You know, Karen, one of the things that I've said before, I learned this way back in the day when I was a lifeguard, that you save the people that are closest to you. If a boat tips over, don't try to save the one that's screaming the loudest, that's the furthest away, because you'll end up going past the people that are more easily savable, that can actually help you save more people. And it stayed with me. That I learned that when I was 16 years old. It stayed with me to this day. And that's kind of how, and I've said it before on this show, that's the thing I think we have to kind of embrace right now, continually when it comes to growing the party, getting the party back in the right order, getting those voters off the bench, is making sure that we're saving the ones that are closest to us one by one. You talk about it a lot. Michelle Peltier talks about it a lot in terms of one person at a time. And here's the thing, if all of us are saving one person at a time, look at what we got. I mean, it's pretty badass when we do it that way, don't you think?
Keep listening to WCPT 820 because facts matter.
Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Welcome back. I'm improviser Matthew Van Colton. You're listening to Out Chicago on WCPT 820.
And we are indeed back. This is Ellen Miller filling in for Scott today, who's taking a deserved day off. And with me is the lovely and talented Kathy Voltmer.
Thank you. Her wife and Chicago radio veteran.
Veteran, yes. She's taught me everything I know.
I don't think that's true.
I need more help.
No notes, baby.
Our next guest is one of Chicago's most compelling singer-songwriters. His debut album, American Rough, released on Bloodshot Records, has been earning rave reviews for its cinematic songwriting, emotional honesty, and fresh take on Americana and country music. He's become a friend. I'm a huge fan. Please welcome Andrew Sod out, Chicago. Hey, Andrew.
Hey, how are you, Ellen?
I'm good. It's so good to have you with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. And hey, Kathy, good to see you.
Hi, Andrew. I'm so glad we could have you here. Man, you have been getting some raves for American Rough. It's got to be a real trip. What a ride you're on right now.
I feel endlessly blessed. Yes, I'm just so happy that it's resonating with people.
So, well, it's much deserved because, you know, ever since we saw you for the first time a few years ago, I was an instant fan, and I told you so that night, of course, right away. And I'm just wondering what this is like original songs, right? So you're right. I didn't realize you were a writer when I first saw you perform. Did you always perform original tunes, or is this kind of a new path for you?
It's definitely not new. You know, I was always an interpreter, and in my education background is mostly in theater, which again is an interpreter. You know, and so to be the source of the material, I really had to train for that. I really had to take some songwriting classes at the Old Town School of Folk Music, and it's been a long time coming. I've been writing songs on and off since I was 18. So this is the first batch with a lot of good help from some other songwriters that I felt was worthy of putting down on plastic, as I've been saying.
So what does it feel like to finally have these songs out in the world? It's got to feel very vulnerable in a way.
Oh, yeah. You know, that's actually a comfortable part of it for me. You know, I find a lot of comfort being vulnerable. I know you can probably recognize that when I'm on stage. The thing that I'm the most excited about is that I've just been working on them for so long. You know, it's more just there's been this anticipation of, oh, we've been sitting on this, like, is this gonna resonate? And again, I'm just so happy that it is.
It obviously, as Kathy mentioned, you're getting rave reviews. The title, American Rough, it's very evocative. I mean, what does American Rough mean to you? Why was that the title that you chose?
You know, this character, American Rough character, or few characters, are the others that I'm singing these love songs, these devotionals to. I was reading a lot of poetry when I started writing this record, and American Rough came to me from reading the Calamus poems by Walt Whitman in his collection In Leaves of Grass, which these Calamus poems are very much about like the manly, masculine affection between two men. And, you know, rough, the word rough comes in my mind from like, in gay culture, there's something called rough trade, which is like a hookup who's likely maybe still in the closet, maybe blue collar worker. And in English culture, in the 30s, I read that Quentin Crisp referred to the guys who were maybe homophobic as the roughs, and that it's kind of like a Shakespearean "thou dost protest too much, methinks" kind of a vibe there. But yeah, it was meant to be evocative. I wasn't sure that was going to be the title, but my collaborator, H.C. McIntyre, when I had presented that song to her, she said, oh, I think this is the title. right here.
Yeah,
So
it makes sense, especially the way, how you're explaining it. It's obviously, deeply personal and relatable. Were some of the songs more difficult or actually liberating, either or both, to write?
Oh, yeah. Every song was liberating to write. They never felt difficult. In fact, I think that's a testament to my collaborators, or our trust in each other, and each other's taste. It's really incredible to not be the one responsible for every part of the equation. Like to be able to work with others and lean on their strengths when I'm not feeling strong, or when everyone agrees on something, this is the thing to do. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah,
it
does. And you say others. How did you assemble the musicians and the collaborators that you used? Who else is on the record with you?
Well, for the writers, it's me, H.C. McIntyre, and Liam Kazar.
Oh, Liam
Kazar.
He's great.
Oh, yeah. Liam, what a Chicago legend. Now he's living in Brooklyn, but he wrote the song Under You for me for this record. And then he and I worked on this song on the record called Gorgeous Things. And then Heather, HC, I met by chance. We were both interviewed for a No Depression article during lockdown in the pandemic. And I saw her photo, her name, H.C. McIntyre. I thought, oh my God, is she related to Reba?
Yeah.
Turns out she's not.
Oh, darn.
But
we like Reba.
Oh my gosh, my mom modeled her whole life after Reba. But HC, I listened to her music and I thought, oh my God, another queer alt country songwriter whose poetry, her voice and her poetry, I was just so taken with. And so Sully, my manager, said we should ask her to produce the record, and the rest was history. Okay. But she put together the backing band, a lot of the backing band for the record. We recorded it down in North Carolina where she lives. And I brought Spencer Tweedy, who's been a good friend, to play drums on the record.
We love Spencer.
Who doesn't?
He's great.
He's been on the show.
He's been on the show with us. He's, I know Sue very well. I've known her for years, his mom. And I always, when I see her, I'm like, you raised some fantastic boys there. I mean, really, Sammy and Spencer's just such a lovely, not only is he talented, but he's just a really special person. And I know you know that.
Yes, and so sweet and supportive and generous, and that whole family, they're all so sweet and supportive.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was our crew.
Good crew.
Out Chicago and Ellen and me both have been huge supporters of you because we just love you and we think you're amazing, but also because you are a, queer country artist. You really represent. But it feels like with this record, you're going to be able to move beyond some of those labels. And how do you feel like listeners are connecting to this record regardless of their background, regardless if they're in our community or not?
Well, I mean, that's a really good question. I definitely come from a position of tenderness and love. And as I mentioned earlier, a lot of these songs are devotionals. Like they put me in a position of less power. And I think that a lot of people, there isn't a lot of that kind of music out there. There's a lot of posturing and there's a lot of bravado. And as I've often said, I probably can't say that word on the radio.
Yes.
What I'll say,
very good. Thank you, Andrew.
What I will say is that I'm a sweet guy. I'm a tender guy, and I can't tell you how many straight guys have embraced me after a show and thanked me for offering that perspective and position as a songwriter.
How can they not? One of the standout tracks is Lavender Cowboy, and I know that honors your mentor, Patrick Haggerty of Lavender Country. Can you tell us a little bit about the relationship with Patrick and how he influenced both your music and your life?
Yes, absolutely. Talk about tenderness. What a tender soul, Patrick Haggerty. He came into my life in 2018. I was asked to open for him at the Hideout, and I had never heard of him or his music, and it was getting this resurgence after many years of being forgotten. His record written in the 70s. And I was just so taken by this little gay grandpa, you know, on the stage. Cowboy grandpa. I mean, he was, you know, we don't have a lot of that generation.
Right.
And now he's no longer with us. But for the time that we shared together, he gave me, as I like to say, permission to return to country music. I'd always loved country music. I was raised on country music, but for so long I didn't see myself represented in it, and so I left it in search of other things like Rufus Wainwright and Elton John and Freddie Mercury and the like, Katie Lang but Patrick, he, like I said, he really he opened the door for me to revisit country music, and I've been so grateful for that.
And you honor him on the record, as we said, with the tune Lavender Cowboy.
Do you think there's one... Sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I wondered if there is one song on the record that best represents you. If we were to say you have to listen to this record, what is the one song that sort of sums up who you are?
Can I give you two songs?
Of course. Yes, we'll let you.
Okay. Because I've been getting a lot of feedback from other people that the song You Turned Me On is very representative of my theater background and love of cabaret, entertainment and lounge singing and so forth. And so I have to, not to mention it was inspired by the Nina Simone song Turn Me On, which I had jokingly said to my partner, hey, I wish I'd have written this song. What a simple, brilliant song. He said, write your own. And so I wrote You Turned Me On. But I think personally the song Your Whisper is the one that really, it adequately presents my love for poetic lyricism and the textures of the song, the saxophone solo. I mean, I just feel like it blends so many elements of what I love about music and what I want to bring to the world.
Well, we're so excited about this album for you, and we're so excited for other people to hear it. Is there someplace live that you're going to be playing soon? I follow you on social media, so I've seen you've been around quite a bit. Is there any upcoming shows we should know about?
There is going to be a Chicago show on the horizon. I can't say when, maybe in the beginning of the new year. I have a lot of out-of-town gigs that I'm going to be playing for the rest of the year so far. But of course, I know you attend Lonesome Holiday. There will definitely be Lonesome Holiday at the Hideout, second and third week of December.
And I see, I'm looking at my screen that says aren't you playing at Judson and Moore this Friday?
Oh my goodness, I totally forgot. Yes, I'm going to be playing.
Good.
Oh gosh, I'm going to be playing two songs at a really cool brand new show called By and By, which is presented by my friend Olivia Love, who is another queer country artist. Her band is called Olivia and the Lovers. And the show is called By and By. It's about presenting songs to be inducted into the Queer Country Songbook. We're starting that collection.
Fantastic. I love that. And that's at Judson and Moore. It's a cool venue, 8 p.m. on Friday, the 24th. Andrew, it has been our pleasure to have you on with us. We love what you do. he's a big Joni Mitchell fan, like Kathy and I are, and we bonded over that. I want him to do a whole album of Joni Mitchell covers one of these days. So I thank. I know you'll do it. We have time. We have time.
Quite a feat.
I know if anybody can do it, you can put your own spin on it. But we really appreciate it, and we look forward to so many more great things coming from you. The album again, American Rough, on Bloodshot Records. Get it wherever records are sold. And we really appreciate you, and I'm wishing you all the best.
Love you, Andrew. Good luck.
Love you too, both of you.
Thanks.
Have a good day.
Thanks, Andrew. We're going to take a break. We're going to listen to Andrew's music on the way out. And when we get back, we are going to be having more fun here on Out Chicago, where facts matter.
Sparks radio program.
I mean, PDX is quoting, Samuel L. Jackson for scripture. So what,
that again goes to my faux Christianity. I'll plant my faux Christianity flag in this guy's forehead any day of the week. This idea that he's a true believer is just nonsense. This is also a problem that they have.
Hal Sparks, Saturdays from 11 to 1 on WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk.
This summer, celebrate music, community, and unforgettable nights under the stars at Ravinia. Experience Brandi Carlile, Grace Jones and Janelle Monáe, Hugh Jackman, and Chance the Rapper, plus performances from the Chicago Symphony Orchestra all season long. Live music, iconic artists, and summer nights await in Highland Park. Tickets are on sale now at ravinia.org.
When facts matter, you turn to WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk.
A fair balance where the facts come out.
Real news, real talk.
NBC News Radio, I'm Lisa Carton. The stage is set for today's World Cup final in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Spain will play Argentina for the championship with a kickoff at 3 p.m. Eastern. Heavy security is in place with both President Trump and New York Mayor Zoran Mamdani expected to attend. Scott Pringle has more.
Fans heading to the big match should expect a very high level of security with President Trump in attendance as well as other world leaders. Traffic volume in the area also expected to be high with a lot of vehicle drop-offs. There's 18,000 bus seats for sale for shuttle buses out of Manhattan to the stadium. Argentina, the winner of the last World Cup, trying to defend its title against Spain, whose soccer team arrived to a crowd in Montclair for the big match.
FIFA officials are monitoring the New Jersey air quality ahead of the match after thunderstorms cleared out much of the smoke from Canadian wildfires. And this year, the global soccer tournament will have its first ever FIFA World Cup final halftime show featuring Shakira, Madonna, BTS, and Justin Bieber. President Trump wants Iran added to a bipartisan Russia sanctions bill. The measure would impose mandatory sanctions on Russian political and military leaders, as well as oligarchs, state-owned enterprises, and foreign companies that support Russia's defense industrial base. In a Truth Social post today, Trump called on Republicans to add Iran to the bill, writing that it's what the late Senator Lindsey Graham wanted to do. The president's request comes as the U.S. and Iran have been exchanging strikes. 2 U.S. service members were killed in an Iranian missile attack in Jordan. New York City health officials say a second person has died from Legionnaire's disease in connection with the outbreak on Manhattan's Upper East Side. Here's Larry Kofsky.
The death of the latest victim, whose identity has not been made public, comes even as the city reports a sharp decline in new Legionnaire's cases.
As of yesterday, there have been 72 confirmed cases. You're listening to the latest on NBC News Radio.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter.
When you leave the office, catch up on what you missed on the way home with Patty Vasquez. Weekday afternoons from 5 to 7.
Because we have so much to talk about every day.
Driving it home with Patty Vasquez.
And as you would imagine, that would mean that folks want to call in and join the conversation.
Only on WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk.
The family meeting.
There's a practical use to social media. And I know it's hard to watch some of the garbage that comes across, the silly videos, and you don't want everybody to tell you every little thing they're doing. And I don't care about your little, you eating the pizza. I don't care about that.
It's still different than opening up a newspaper or a magazine and going, well, that article I'm not interested in. That article I'm not interested in. I'm interested in one.
Or thumbs down or whatever you do to it so it doesn't show up anymore.
Same thing.
But it's also an opportunity for you to spread the word, right?
Tune into the family meeting Sundays at 4.
Take summer to the next level with the stunning performance of a Porsche. Find the perfect model for you at the Porsche Exchange in Highland Park. Browse and test drive our extensive selection, like the 2026 Porsche Cayenne. Right now, lease the 2026 Cayenne for just $1149 a month for 39 months. Discover performance like no other when you visit the Porsche Exchange in Highland Park or PorscheExchange.com.
$10,859 to sign for qualified buyers. Excludes tax, title, license, and dealer fee. No security deposit required. See dealer for details. Offer ends 7/31/26.
Because facts matter. You are listening to WCPT 820.
I'd like to welcome you to WCPT AM's Out Chicago. Think of us as Sunday brunch with your gay best friends. Now, please welcome your host, Ellen Miller.
Hello, everybody. We are back. I'm sitting in the host chair for Scott today, and with me is radio veteran Kathy Voltmer. Hi, Kathy.
Hi, honey. It's great to be here.
It's great to have you.
Don't forget, Monday on Live, Local, and Progressive, Joan Esposito will be taking her calls and talking to Jameson Firestone, author of the new memoir, Rule of Lies, My Wild Ride Through Chaos, Corruption, and Murder in Putin's Russia. And Brian Endless, senior lecturer and director of African Studies and the African Diaspora at Loyola University, Chicago. Live, Local, and Progressive, weekdays from 2 to 5 p.m. Central on WCPT 820 AM, heartlandsignal.com, and TuneIn.
TuneIn Radio. I am very excited for our next guest. We are going to talk about In the Continuum. It's now playing at the Noise Cultural Center in Chicago.
Evanston.
I'm sorry.
I
said
used to
Chicago.
live right by there. That's
Why
how
did I
know.
say?
That's all right.
I'm crazy. And with us now is Tim Rohn. Hey, Tim. Welcome to the show.
Hey. Good morning.
Good to have you.
How are you?
Good.
Yeah.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. It's good to be back with you.
Yes, it's good to have you back. Fleetwood-Jourdain, they've built a reputation for presenting stories that are both compelling artistically and socially important. What drew you to In the Continuum, Tim?
Well, anything that you read as a theater artist that grabs you by the soul is something is worth exploring. And of course, there's dozens, if not hundreds and thousands of titles to choose from. In the Continuum has a reputation for being such an impactful piece. And it was it deals with a subject matter that we seem to have put on the back shelf. Right?
Yeah.
When we're talking about, HIV and AIDS. And so this exploration between the two playwrights who collaborated on this, Benai Guerrero and Nikki Salter, they've, I think, have done a really good job of seamlessly putting together these two stories of women, one from South Central LA and the other one in Zimbabwe.
Now, in the play, do they know each other, or is it just two non-parallel stories that sit side by side?
Yeah, I think you kind of nailed that on the head, right? They do not know each other.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And yet, artistically, you find them interacting in ways that are very similar, right? So their stories, although worlds apart, have similarities to them. Both of them are in the early stages of pregnancy when they find out the diagnosis, right? Sure. And that's part of I think the dilemma, because in the early 2000s to the mid 2000s, the diagnosis of HIV was not the same death sentence as it was a decade before. But there was still the heavy social sort of impact of being diagnosed this way, right? But yeah, these two stories come together. They collide at times, and sometimes they sit apart. There's some dialogue involved, and there's obviously a stream of monologues that take place.
It's interesting that it's about two women because, often when we think of AIDS, we know it affects women, but gay men is what comes to mind. So why do you think it's important that this particular story be told?
Well, it's just a reminder of how delicate life is. And through the choices that we make, these two women were not, drug addicts. They weren't, promiscuous. Unfortunately, the two men that they loved brought this disease to them. And so I think the way that they present it, and I know that it can, and obviously, it's a grim, thing to be told, that you are HIV positive. But the two playwrights have really put a lighter spin on how they present the material. So you're not sitting in the darkness the entire time. You are actually sitting in some very, very humorous ways of how they are dealing with life and the people that they have to interact with along the way. And they portray many different characters throughout the evening. Right, so altogether they portray like 11 different characters that each of them have to interact with.
Wow, that's an undertaking.
Yes, it is. better for them to undertake that than me.
Said it.
I know this play premiered a couple of decades ago, but it sounds like it has a lot of relevance for today. What do you think the connection is for audiences in 2026?
Well, the connection is, I think, just in many ways that you wake up one morning and everything is just fine. And then in a moment, life changes. And I think we're all experiencing that now, right? We wake up every day with headlines that for many people, whether it's the skyrocketing prices of gasoline and groceries and things like that, to the elimination of your health care because you can't afford it. So once again, I emphasize how it's relevant because life should not be taken for granted, right? And so each and every day that you are above ground, better to be seen and not viewed, right? That is, to me, I think is the overarching sort of message. It's like, life is precious. Take care of it and take care of each other.
And how do you balance, Tim, the emotional weight of the story with like moments of hopefulness?
Well, that has nothing. I take my cues from the playwrights. They have done, and they were young women when they created this. They were both graduate students at NYU at the time that they created this Obie award-winning, Pulitzer Prize-nominated play, right? So they wrote a script that, as a director, allows you to see the lighter side of the personality of these characters and these women. And so the balancing act really comes from the template by which they have given to me and the performers.
Wow.
You're wearing a couple of hats in this production. Explain the hats you're wearing and how that gives you a unique perspective on the story.
Oh, you mean like as the parking lot attendant and the janitor? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we forgot about those two. We just knew about the direction and being the set designer. But tell us about all that.
Oh, those other things, yes.
Yeah.
No, I enjoy designing sets and working along with the different muralists and painters that that come on board to collaborate on this. And then as the producer, making sure that obviously all of the T's are crossed and I's are dotted and the checks are being cut, and making sure that everyone that's involved are motivated to work together in a collaborative spirit. And as director, maintain that collaborative spirit with the performers and giving them the sense that they're not just puppets on a string, but they are a part of the creative process. And that, to me, is paramount if you're going to create engaging theater, is that all the artists are engaged. And that's the director's mission for me, is to make sure that everyone has a voice and that everyone has a paintbrush in their hand and a series of colors by which to help paint this story.
So how did you manage designing the set and directing? I mean, did you have the set completely figured out, or did you have to kind of improvise as you directed along the way?
Once again, in the play, when you open it up, they tell you that this is a minimalist play. And anything else that you try to put a spin on, I think distracts from storytelling. And so what we're creating basically is a black box theater feel to it, without a lot of different accoutrement around it and a lot of different furniture pieces and things. We rely heavily on a fantastic lighting design. A lot of the sound design is actually coming from the actors themselves, and so some of the sound effects that would normally be done by a sound designer are being created by the actors themselves. But the balancing act is so natural for me now. I've been, believe it or not, I've been at this Fleetwood-Jourdain Theatre for 16 years.
Wow.
Right. That's how I see it. Wow.
How has Fleetwood-Jourdain grown and changed over those 16 years? I know your long ongoing commitment to telling stories from the Black experience, but how's Fleetwood-Jourdain, evolved?
It has evolved because we have engaged in meaningful partnerships with Northwestern University, with the Evanston Public Library. We've done things with the YWCA as well as with the school districts, School District 65. So the partnerships have grown. We've done a major overhaul over the years of the infrastructure of the theater with new LED lightings and seats and a brand new sound system. And so we are ever evolving. And when I first started, we were probably operating at a clip of around 15 to 20% audience capacity, and we hover somewhere around 80% now. Wow. And so we've been able to grow our audience. The audience is now stretching beyond the borders of Evanston, so it's reaching far up north, all the way up to Highland Park and Lake Forest, all the way south. To Blue Island. People are coming in to see our shows, and you go out west, and so our audience has grown tremendously over the years, and I don't take credit for it. I give the city of Evanston major kudos because they have continued to invest financially in the theater and to give me the resources that I need to make those changes happen.
Where does Fleetwood-Jourdain go from here? Do you have a 5-year, 10-year vision for what you'd like to see, where you'd like to see the theater go and grow?
Well, obviously, I think that there's at some point in time there's a succession plan, right? It's something that eventually someone else will take over the reins of the producing director, artistic director responsibilities of the theater. What I hope over the next 5 years is that our audience continues to grow and expand with its diversity. And so our mission is very, very specific about sharing the experiences of Black America and the diaspora, that journey as well. But those journeys and those experiences are not exclusive, right? They're inclusive of all the people that we come in contact with. So I just hope that it continues to expand, to bring more people into the fold. I would also like to be able to have Fleetwood-Jourdain Theatre become in partnership with all the other cultural communities, whether it's the Jewish community, the Irish community, the Asian and or Latino community, and to bring some of those stories to our stage as well. So we have the resources, and I want to make sure that we're sharing that with the entire community.
Beautiful, beautiful mission. Well, without giving away too much, Tim, is there a particular moment in the play that surprised you or moved you most during rehearsals that maybe you didn't expect to happen?
Every rehearsal, something happens, and it's as a result of the playfulness of our two wonderful actors, Jewel Redmond and Tuesday B. Perry. They bring such a creative spirit to it. And so from rehearsal to rehearsal, you never know how their creative spirit is going to move a moment. We are very, very respectful of the words and the language of the play, so we don't change any of that around. But what you end up finding, here's an example, and it's a quick one, but I think a meaningful one. The song "My Favorite Thing" from the musical, right?
Yeah, Sound of Music.
Sound of Music. Mm-hmm.
Sound of Music, right? And remember what John Coltrane did with that song?
Yes, I love that song, that version.
And so I see, when we do theater, and then even in this piece here, I see taking the music that is written, that is given you. So you have the music, but you are allowed to play within the notes. And so from time to time, there will be something that happens in the playing of this familiar song that is brand new. And that comes from the creative spirit of the actors on stage, and then I just continue to encourage it. When things go well, I take all the credit. If it doesn't, I blame them.
Of course, great analogy though. Tim, I got a text a moment ago from one of our dear friends who claims she goes way back with you to Detroit, Liz Zweifler.
Liz, yeah.
She's listening right now, so shout out to Liz.
So your theatrical journey started in Detroit, Tim?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, born and raised in Detroit, and that journey began with the Detroit Repertory Theater, which is about to celebrate its 70th anniversary. My father, who was a full-time postal employee, he worked the midnight shift, but he dabbled in theater, and he would work and do plays at the Detroit Repertory Theater. So when I was 6, 7, 8 years old, 9 years old, he would take me to rehearsal with him. And I would sit there in the theater, and I would watch him do the Capricious Crump, or Ceremonies in Dark Old Men, or The Adding Machine, or Mice and Men. And so as a young person, I was given the spirit of theater very, very early, but I didn't really realize that you could actually make a career out of theater until I was later in life. I always thought it was something that would be an avocation. But as it turned out, the Detroit Repertory Theater played a pivotal part in my growth and my interest in theater. I make sure that people understand that the theater is something that saved my life. I was earlier on, and before they started, giving kids all these different diagnoses about your learning disabilities and things like that, I had a very difficult time with reading, and so I could read the words, but my understanding of that lacked tremendously. And so one today, my father, who was playing a role in the play Ceremonies in Dark Old Men by Lonnie Elder III, asked me to help him learn his lines, memorize his lines. And he was doing this before he went to work. He had to go to work at 8 o'clock at night or something like that. And so I was, of course, I could read the words. And so he said, I'm going to play Mr. Jenkins, and you're going to read all the other characters. So I said, great. And we began to do this exercise of him memorizing his lines. And this play, Ceremonies in Dark Old Men, I began to understand like nobody's business.
Wow.
He went to work that night, and I finished reading the play. And I could tell you everything about the play. I didn't know what a protagonist was at the time, or antagonist, the rising conflict and resolution. Those words had not come into play for me yet, but I could describe the play and the action and surmise why certain characters were doing certain things and how it affected them. And so I began to consume plays like other people consume textbooks. So as other people would take an hour to read a couple of chapters of a textbook in high school even, it would take me 4 hours to read that. But I could consume a play in an hour.
Wow,
the entire thing.
Your comprehension level got a kickstart from that, and the rest is history, right?
Yeah, the rest is history, absolutely.
Well, Tim, it's been a real pleasure to have you on with us. In the Continuum at Fleetwood-Jourdain Theatre in the Noise Cultural Arts Center is running 7:25 to 8/9. You can get tickets by calling their box office or any other good way to get tickets. I guess it's fjtheater.com really is the best way to get tickets. FJ Theater. And as Scott says, it's theater with an R. It's theater, THEATRE, because they're fancy like that. That's what Scott would say.
Fancy like that. You know what? Is there a way that we can give some tickets away to your listeners? Is that possible?
We're going to have to let's try and do that for next week if we can, because we kind of need a little bit. If you'd like, we would like to try to do that. That would be great. Okay.
Yeah, next week, we open up. We open up next week, like you said, on the 25th is a preview, 26th is a press opening. We run into August the 9th, and maybe we can hook several of your listeners up to come and experience Fleetwood-Jourdain Theatre for themselves.
We will tease that for next week, and we'll tease it now. And next week we'll manage it. We'll figure out a way to give away a pair of tickets. So we'll be in touch for the details on that. Okay.
Yeah, that's great. I appreciate you.
Oh, of course. Tim Rhoze, it's been a real pleasure to have you with us. Break all the legs this coming Thursday. Is it Thursday? Thursday.
It will be next week, Saturday.
Saturday. Oh, I got my dates right. And I know it sounds like not only a really great play, but an important play for people to see and take in. So again, appreciate you, and break legs.
Thank you very much. Have a great Sunday.
You too, Tim.
Thanks, Tim.
We are going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we're going to be talking with the fight coordinator for Babes with Blades. You're listening to WCPT's Out Chicago, where facts matter.
Saving money on your next project now at Menards. Menards is the leading supplier of quality roof and floor trusses. Choose from our large selection of residential and post-frame trusses, or design custom trusses specifically for your project. Get started on your building project today, in store or on menards.com. Plus, view our weekly flyer for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
This is a WCPT Veteran Minute. In the midst of World War II, a group of Native American soldiers known as the Code Talkers became silent heroes. The U.S. military faced challenge of secure communications on the battlefield, and these men, primarily from the Navajo tribe, were enlisted to develop an unbreakable code. Using their native language, which had no written alphabet, they transmitted vital messages that were indecipherable to enemy forces. The code proved to be an essential asset, particularly in the Pacific Theater, where it helped the Allies win crucial battles. The Code Talkers' courage and ingenuity saved countless lives and turned the tide of the war. Yet, their contributions remained largely unknown until decades later. The legacy of the Code Talkers stands as a testament to the strength, resilience, and invaluable service of Native Americans during one of America's most devastating conflicts. This has been a WCPT Veteran Minute.
This is a WCPT Civil Rights Snapshot. Percy Julian was born in 1899 in Birmingham, Alabama. His mother was a school teacher and stressed education. Percy achieved academic success throughout his youth and graduated from DePauw University in 1920. Racial discrimination diverted Mr. Julian from his preferred career path and graduate studies, but he did earn a PhD in chemistry in Vienna, Austria. Julian returned to the U.S. and a professorship at Howard University. In 1935, he entered private industry and eventually started his own company. Mr. Julian married and settled in the Chicago area. In 1950, his home was set ablaze by an arsonist, and 1 year later, a bomb narrowly missed his children while they slept. Despite racial adversity, Percy Julian earned international accolades for pioneering research and paved the way for black scientists in education and industry. You can learn more about this great American at blackinventor.com. And please stay vigilant about our civil rights. The fight is never over.
Hey Google, play WCPT.
Streaming Chicago's progressive talk from TuneIn.
Hi, I'm Spencer Tweedy, and you're listening to Out Chicago on WCPT.
Hi, Spencer. Just speaking of Spencer, there he is.
That Hey Google promo always turns on our Google machine at home.
Well, that's why we do it. We want people, whether they want to or not, they have to listen in all rooms of the house.
Very subversive.
We're back. Ellen Miller here, Kathy Voltmer, my co-host.
In life and on the air.
And on the air. Babes with Blades' latest production is a fun pirate adventure called Yo-Ho. And with us now is CB Cason. She is the fight choreographer. Fight choreographer. CB, welcome to Out Chicago.
Hello, happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
What a fun job.
It is a fun job.
What exactly do you do as a fight choreographer, and how did you get into that gig?
Yeah, well, so I got into stage combat and fight choreography as a college student. We had a member of the Society of American Fight Directors come to my university down in Texas and taught us how to create the illusion of violence where there is none and how to choreograph fights for stage and screen. And so that's kind of how I got into it. And I started training with the Society of American Fight Directors, started picking up training past my collegiate career into my professional career. And then I landed in Chicago several years ago and decided to stick around. And now I've gotten a chance to work professionally across the city. And I'm so excited to be on board with Babes with Blades for Yo-Ho. Kind of the process as a fight choreographer starts with, reading the script and taking note of all of the fights or moments of violence that the characters encounter throughout the story, and then finding ways to tell those stories on stage with the actors, ensuring their safety while also creating a sense of danger and excitement that will keep the audience at the edge of their seat.
So speaking of the story, can you give us a little background on what the story is actually about?
Absolutely. So some of your listeners might already be familiar with Mary Read, Anne Bonny, and Calico Jack, who were three pirates in the 1700s who sailed the seas and did their pirating. And this is an adaptation of those historical characters and like a reimagining of what their time on board might have been like, and also a look at the queer relationships of those people on board. There's a lot of speculation from historians on Mary Read and Anne Bonny possibly having a romantic connection, also a romantic connection with Calico Jack. And so this is a story that explores those relationships in a fun and exciting and also at times very heartfelt way.
So is there like a throuple thing going on here? Is that what you're saying?
I wouldn't call it a throuple, okay. But I would say you got to come see it to find out.
Ooh, titillating. All right.
But there's plenty of fighting and excitement there. There's also plenty of romance as well. If you take a look on our socials and you see our poster, it's done in the style of like a one of those romance novels from back in the day. Very dramatic and like, billowing shirts and a sunset in the background kind of gives you a feel for the romance aspect of it.
Harlequin romance come to life.
Babes with Blades is known by all of us who've been paying attention before all this wonderful stage combat you guys do. It's got to be like a dream job for somebody with your background.
Oh, absolutely. This is my second time getting to work with Babes with Blades. I got to be an assistant choreographer last August for The Mark, and then they had me back for Yoho as the lead choreographer. So I'm really happy to be back in the room with them. Something that Babes with Blades ensures for their actors and choreographers is not only are they telling stories and putting on productions that have a lot of exciting fights and violence in them, they also ensure that we get plenty of time dedicated to training and choreography for the actors who will be performing on stage. So my assistant Mimi Madison and I had a chance to do some teaching, to do some drills, to get people's feet wet. A lot of our actors had a little bit of background in sword fighting already, had some stage combat experience. We hire people who kind of have that base to stand on, and then we give them the tools to succeed on stage and performance.
So what actually led you to be interested in stage combat?
Well, I was a dancer first, like many people in my profession are. So I had a movement background and a theater and storytelling background. And I can remember being a little kid in the backyard, and all I wanted to do was pick up a stick and fight with it. And so now I get to do that as an adult for my job.
And for those that, aren't familiar with Babes with Blades, although we've, had people on over the years, but, tell our listeners why Babes with Blades even exists.
I would say Babes with Blades exists to create a place where women and people of other genders can come together and tell stories for them and by them. And to build in a place for queer stories, for women's stories, for other people of other genders, to see themselves on stage, to see themselves represented, and in a way that is not always typical in the mainstream. So Babes with Blades really provides a way for those stories to be told.
Good. And is there any other theater group like it in the country, or is this unique? Is Babes with Blades unique?
I think it's pretty unique. I heard about Babes with Blades long before I ever moved to Chicago, kind of through other fight friends and other people in the stage combat community. I heard about, hey, there's this company, there's a theater company up in Chicago, Babes with Blades. And I was like, wow, that sounds like right up my alley. So when I moved to Chicago, it was one of my personal goals to get to work with them someday. And I'm so happy to be here now.
And here you are.
Yeah.
What's the biggest misconception that audiences have about stage combat and stage fighting?
I think one of the biggest misconceptions is either that either it's like real and they're like, oh no, they're actually getting hit every night. Oh, are those punches actually, how do you do that night after night after night? Well, they're actually not getting hit in the face. They're actually not being stabbed through the chest, right? We're creating that illusion of violence where there is none. So I think that's one of the misconceptions that I had. Like, oh, how do they do that every night? Well, it's because it's fake fighting for real people.
What's the secret to creating that illusion, to making this look, like it's really dangerous when it's not, when it's safe and people aren't getting hurt?
Yeah, so the techniques that have been created for this kind of choreography and storytelling have been, it's still within the last 100 years, people have been doing stage combat. For a while, it was just, oh, there's a fencing match at the end of Hamlet. Do a fencing match, and you improv it essentially. And then in the 20th century, they were like, no, wait, we can choreograph this. We can create ways to maintain safety and create little gaps. I like to think of it like a magic trick. Stage combat, in my opinion, is very similar to close-up magic, right? We're making the audience look at this thing, think about this thing, and we're telling the story of the punch landing or the story of the sword entering the body, when actually we're turning it on an angle or we're placing it just out of the audience's line of sight. And then the actors are acting like, wow, that really hurt, or wow, that really went through my body. And so it really is a lot up to them to sell the impact, or to sell the story of, ooh, this is what's happening to my character in their body right now.
So are a lot of the actors like frustrated Olympian wannabe fencers, or do they come with no experience at all, or is it all over the map?
It kind of just depends. For a show like this, you know, we had our initial round of auditions, and then we had callbacks, and part of our callback process was a fight callback. So I got to come in and see all of the actors that they had called back and lead them through a short unarmed fight phrase and a short sword fight phrase, and then they got a chance to practice it with a partner, just the way you might do a cold read. You know, you read it once or twice with your partner, and then you show it off to the casting agents. Yeah, so I got to see where people were in the room, and the director and I got to make some decisions, and we were able to cast people who had a good, strong acting background and who also had the capability to take on this level of choreography.
Are actors nervous when they know they have to do fight scenes, or are they excited about it?
I think a mix of both. I think, it's always, I always think it's exciting to get to fight on stage. And I think it's exciting for them too, because it's also not the kind of thing that you run into in every single play you get cast in, you know, like, it can be pretty rare to have a chance to hold a sword and be a pirate on stage. And so I think that a lot of actors come into it really exciting, but there is that amount of caution where you want to take care of your scene partner. You want to make sure that they're safe and that you're not going to hurt them. And that's where it comes in for my job as a choreographer to, again, give you the tools to do this choreography safe and repeatable however many nights a week you're performing, and that you and your scene partner have a good rapport and kind of build up that fight chemistry as well, that physical chemistry, the same way that you build that up in your scene work when you're doing the lines. Yeah. You
got to trust somebody pretty implicitly to get in a fight with them on stage.
Yes, absolutely. You're really working together, not against each other.
Without giving away any surprises, is there one thing that the audiences might still be talking about on the ride home?
Ooh, I think they're going to talk. I think they're going to talk about the acting that these actors are doing. Like I said, there's some really funny moments. There's like moments in this show where you will belly laugh 100%. And there's also moments where you're going to get your heartstrings pulled at, and you're going to, feel that romance or that heartbreak or that whatever it is for these characters. And so I think those are the moments that people will be talking about on the way home. We also, without giving too much away, I do think people are going to talk about the seagull fight, and I'll just let that live. You'll have to come see what that's about.
The seagull fight?
There's a seagull fight.
Hopefully no seagulls are harmed in the making.
No seagulls are harmed in the making of the production of Yoho.
So, Yoho is described as sexually charged. Do you have do you handle that part too, or is there an intimacy coordinator on?
Wonderful intimacy coordinator, Alyssa. I can't remember Alyssa's last name off the top of my head, but she was wonderful. Came in, and in a similar way where we're asking actors to create the illusion of violence on stage, and that can feel a little daunting or a little nervous with the choreography of that, and how do we find out how to tell this story in a safe, repeatable way. Our intimacy coordinator also has that, kind of another end of that job, how do we create these intimate moments between these characters, and it is quite sexually charged. How do we create that while still maintaining safe boundaries and maintaining a sense of professionalism? And she's done a great job with the intimacy. It's absolutely beautiful work that she and the actors have put into those parts of the story.
What do you hope audiences come away from Yoho saying?
What they'll come away saying?
Yeah. What do you feel? What do you hope they take away from it?
I think they're going to take away a sense of joy and a sense of thankfulness to be, these queer characters in this story, in this time frame that they're being presented in, did not have the ability to be seen as they were in public society. Didn't have the ability to love the way they wanted to love out loud. And I think that people in today's age, right, fast forward to 2026, where we have made leaps and bounds for gay rights and for queer people and for trans people, I think that they're going to walk away with a sense of thankfulness for how far we have come and how we are now able to be our true selves and to live and love out loud.
Wow, it's an important play, and it's a fun play, and it's a reminder, it sounds like, of queer history, which makes us all feel really empowered. CD, it's been a pleasure to have you with us. Yoho now playing. Oh, actually, yeah, it opens today, right? Today, the 19th?
We have our first previews today, and then our official opening is on the 25th.
And the 25th, it runs until August 29th. All performances are at the Edge Theatre off Broadway, which is at 1133 West Catalpa, with select performances available for streaming. So
tickets and info at babeswithblades.org.
It was a pleasure to have you, and it sounds like just such an original and special play, and it's really interesting to hear about what goes on behind the scenes when it comes to the fighting.
Thank you, CB. I've been in radio for over 30 years. I've never spoken with a fight choreographer before, so thank you so much for enlightening us.
Wow.
You're our very
my
first.
Pleasure to be the first. Thank y'all.
Break legs on the first preview tonight, CB.
Excellent. Thank y'all so much. Have a great rest of your Sunday.
You too. Thank you very much. Hey, that's wow.
That's cool.
That is really cool.
What a cool job.
I want to see that show.
I know, me too.
I really, that's what I love about when we have guests on that are, talking about a production in depth. It's like, man, there is so much out there. And in Chicago, I mean, from octet to hair,
I know,
to women pirates fighting and being sexually charged. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, it is going to be the thrilling final moments.
You can't even say it.
Yes, I did.
You did not. Final thrilling
show-stopping moments of Out Chicago. We'll be right back.
You know that you can listen to Chicago's Progressive Talk on WCPT AM 820. Stream us live at WCPT820.com and on the TuneIn Radio app. Or you can ask Alexa, Siri, or Google to play WCPT from TuneIn. But now you have another option. We're simulcasting our programming overnights. 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. on WSBC AM 1240 for a clearer reception in and around the city. Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT 820. And now overnights on WSBC 1240 AM, where facts matter.
This summer, celebrate music, community, and unforgettable nights under the stars at Ravinia. Experience Brandi Carlile, Grace Jones and Janelle Monáe, Hugh Jackman, and Chance the Rapper, plus performances from the Chicago Symphony Orchestra all season long. Live music, iconic artists, and summer nights await in Highland Park. Tickets are on sale now at ravinia.org.
If you're looking to purchase a loved one's home after they passed away, you need to call Team Hochberg, your trusted local lender. Pam wanted to purchase her grandmother's $400,000 home after she passed away, which was left to Pam's father, Ted, and her Aunt Betty. Ted listens to my show and wanted to forego his half of the equity of his mom's home and sell Pam the home for $200,000. Bad move. I recommended Pam purchase the home for $400,000 and get a gift of equity from her father, Ted, for $200,000. Which enabled Pam to purchase the home with a lower rate and no money out of her pocket. Let's review. I helped Pam purchase her grandmother's home without having to bring a penny to the closing and secure a lower rate. Team Hochberg's helped thousands of radio listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. That's 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com.
Atlantic Coast Mortgage, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 643114.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
'Cause remember, Only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Choose Views with Richard Chew.
Can we fix our democracy? Absolutely. We have to. We have no choice. Has it been a democracy that's had major flaws and holes in it like Swiss cheese? Absolutely. And do our systems fail us? Yes, they do. It starts with this, guys. Trust me when I say this. It starts with acknowledging that we have these issues and we have these problems.
Richard Chew, weekday mornings at 6 on WCPT 820.
WCPT 820, Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter.
Hey, this is Kathy Richardson, America's sweetheart from Jefferson Starship, and you're listening to Out Chicago.
Yes, you are listening to Out Chicago. I'm Ellen Miller, sitting in for Scott on the host chair. With me is Kathy Voltmer, my wife, radio veteran, and fantastic person, if you can't
thanks,
tell.
sweetie.
I love you so much.
Thank you.
Speaking of Kathy Richardson, I got to get a plug in here. Kathy's band, Jefferson Starship, is performing at Romeo Fest on August 8th. That's obviously in Romeoville. And guess whose band is opening up for her?
Would that be your band, Nelson Street Revival?
That would be Nelson Street Revival. That would be my band. We're opening up for Starship on the 8th. It's going to be fun.
Jefferson Starship. Yeah, there's Starship's a different band. We actually tried to get Kath on with us today, but the exact time of the show, she's actually getting onto a plane and flying somewhere. I'm so excited for her. They are touring all over the literal world.
They are. They were at Wembley Stadium a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I mean,
fantastic.
Arena. Yeah, so Kath, we're opening for Starship. It's a free Jefferson Starship. It is a free show. I guess it's like a 3-day fest that they do.
I didn't realize they had such an extravaganza.
I don't generally get down that way, but obviously I will be down there on the 8th.
It'll be a fun show. I cannot wait.
Yeah, it's going to be great. We our lead singer. Peaches is having a couple of.
We should wish her well. She's having surgery tomorrow.
Single hip. She's one now on the 20th, and one, and so that it's not the easiest thing to sub out your lead singer who's been singing with you for 11 years and basically not missing a single gig. But we've managed to do it, and we've got a great singer playing. Being our lead singer. Her name's May Cohen. So. Come on down. Come. It's free. It's going to be fun. We might be doing something special with Starship at the end of the night. Our band, their band. It's going to be, just cannot wait. So got to get that plug in. So speaking of music, a guy named Noah Kahn played at Wrigley Field.
Yes.
And
that was huge.
Oh,
who knew?
OMG. Okay. So
sensitive singer-songwriter type dude, and he's huge.
What does it say about young people today? It says all the good things.
Yes.
Because this man, from what I've learned about him, he is, he's a good person. He's a charitable person. He sings, as Kathy said, sensitive singer-songwriter type songs. And he could have done 4 nights there. He had
sold out 2 nights.
Two sold out nights at Wrigley Field. And first I'm like, you're having like a sensitive, quiet kind of singer-songwriter guy do 2 nights at Wrigley Field? But I had to go see it for myself. So I didn't have a ticket. There weren't none to be had.
Was that what night?
That was Wednesday.
It was Wednesday night. I was like over it. I'd been busy all day.
She was over the heat.
Honey, you go.
But
have fun.
I went, scooted up there, and
She sat outside.
I sat outside by the firehouse on Waveland.
With what, 6,000 people?
I have never in my... I go up to Wrigley sometimes when, like, Paul McCartney played 2 nights. We went one night and we listened outside another night. I've listened to Pearl Jam outside. I've listened to so many bands, Dead and Company. I have never seen a crowd like I saw listening outside at Wrigley. They were everywhere. They were like 10 deep. And, it was a joy to see. We're talking about community theory that we're, been talking about here on the show all year with Scott. I mean, mothers and daughters, girlfriends, older people, just, obviously there was a lot of young women that are into him. And you could hear the singing. It was obviously more female voices, but just pure joy from that show.
Again, finding things that bring us joy. We're back to that theme.
I mean, really, I was just kind of blown away, and I was really happy I went up there. and you could hear the songs, like I said, clearly. It was a beautiful thing. And I'd actually, on my walk earlier that day, I was walking next to a person that was dressed in, you could tell she was working at Wrigley. And I said, hey, you going to the show? She goes, yeah. And I said, how was last night? She's like, that was the nicest crowd. There was no fighting. There was no, they drank a lot of water. Of course, it was 95 degrees. But again, we've talked about the younger generation. They're not drinking as much alcohol anyway, even though he's got a song that talks about the alcohol. But I really walked away with a big smile on my face and hope for the future of music and the younger generation.
Also looking for hope. So there you go. Check and check.
Check and check. And speaking of Wrigley, our dear friend Billy Branch, he's a harmonica genius, internationally known.
Chicago-based, but
Chicago-based. He sang the seventh inning stretch on Friday.
He did.
And I gave him explicit...
She gave him notes. I'm like, who are you to give Billy Branch notes?
And the note I gave him is this. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack.
Singular.
That is how the song was written in 1908. Bring me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I have pet peeves. Everybody says Cracker Jacks. He goes, well, if you're buying more,
if you're buying multiple,
can't you say Cracker Jack? I go, no, it's Cracker Jack. It is Cracker Jack, and don't let me down.
And he laughed and proceeded to sing Cracker Jacks anyway.
We got home.
I think he did it just to spite you,
Billy.
They listen. He and his lovely wife Rosa listen. So.
I thought if one person could help me with my pet peeve, but it was not to be. But anyway, I'm so proud of Billy that he was doing, and he did a really good job.
He was great.
Other than that faux pas on the Cracker Jacks.
It's unreasonable. It's an unreasonable expectation.
I'm just out of. He is going to be doing the national anthem on harmonica. I believe that's like August 1st, maybe. Yeah, I think it's August 1st. So he's getting two shots at it. The
Cubs have done an amazing job focusing on the Chicago blues community ever since last season, when they introduced that Chicago blues jersey and made Chicago blues. It's like Chicago Blues Fridays when they're in town.
They wear the special, there's a guitar pick logo on the sleeve.
And they have really done a good job bringing in some of the Chicago blues luminaries, including Billy Branch and many others.
More. He'll actually be on 7/31, so the July 31st Friday, he's going to be singing, playing the national anthem on harmonica. Do not miss it.
Love it.
So Kathy and I are getting in the car when we leave, and we are driving north to our special place we haven't been to in 2 years.
No, Saugatuck, Michigan.
Saugatuck, Michigan. We're going on vacation for a week. And lo and behold, another friend of the show, Megan Murphy, Big Red
Murphy.
She's playing up at the Dunes.
Yeah, if people don't know, and almost everybody does who's ever been to Saugatuck, the Dunes Resort is one of, I think, the country's largest LGBTQ plus resorts. They have, 20 acres and 80 hotel rooms and cottages and suites. There's a disco and a dance floor and a cabaret and a game room and a beautiful pool bar and a patio. And it's just really cool. And it's been around for a long time. It's been around since people were, sneaking around. Now it's a little different. But I love that it's a fixture of the Saugatuck Douglas community.
And I think it is a gay destination for people in Ohio and Michigan and Illinois and St. Louis and surrounding states. It's great to be able to, most of the time, if you drive 2.5 hour radius outside of Chicago, you're not going to be in the most gay-friendly places necessarily.
No. It started in 1981. I just looked it up.
Carl and Larry were the two fellas. We knew them and their daughter.
It was a completely different environment for our community at that time, and you felt free to be able to go up to Saugatuck and go to the Dunes and be in a community where people welcomed you and embraced you. Like I said, it's different now, but you still got to give a shout out to the Dunes, which is still doing its thing all these years later.
Yeah, they've expanded. They have an elevated entertainment area there. They've got several places. They've got a cabaret. They've got the disco. They've got the outdoor area, and of course, there's the pool, which is a lot of fun. It's just really great to be able to, like I said, drive a few hours out of the city and be somewhere where, women are holding hands with women and men are holding hands with men. And there's, pure, total acceptance. And we're grateful I wish there were more places that were, around.
Look at where else can you drive 2.5 hours and be in an accepting place. It's so cool. So we find ourselves going at least once a summer, oftentimes multiple times a summer, because we lost our dog last year. We didn't want to, be
We didn't want to leave.
Yeah. But
it was more important to be with her. And now that she is not with us anymore, we are traveling our little buns off because we can.
We are.
And maybe someday we'll get another dog, but
in the meantime, we're having fun.
We're having fun and doing it. So we're going to see Big Red up there over the weekend.
She plays at the Cabaret, right?
She's playing in the Cabaret.
That's awesome.
And
if the air is really smoky, maybe we'll go see the Odyssey at the theater.
Gosh, you know what? We were looking at the map on the way in, and there is a sliver of better air that happens to be right over Saugatuck. So
it's just a little hazardous.
It's just a little hazardous if you have issues, but not bad. So anyway, people hang in there. I know it's rough with the smoke and
the president
and the president and the what's his buns who wants to give everybody testosterone that doesn't want it. But
find your joy.
Find your
man.
joy.
Octet,
hair, babes with blades. So much more. I want to thank our guests, Andrew Saw. Andrew Saw, have you heard a little bit from him at the end of the segment? He is truly a beautiful person inside and out and such a talent. So check his latest record, American Rough, out on Bloodshot. Tim Rhoze, thank you so much, Tim, for being with us today at the Fleetwood-Jourdain.
Go see the Fleetwood-Jourdain production.
And in the Continuum. And CB Cason, the fight choreographer with Babes and Blades. Yo-ho. I want to thank Matt Byrne, my board op today, our board op doing a fantastic job.
Thank you, Matt.
Paul, thank you
Paul.
for being there, ready to go and rolling with the flow. And of course, last but not least, the lovely and talented Kathy Voltmer, my partner here today and in life. And I'm grateful every day for that.
Thank you, sweetie.
Thank you, Scott, for the opportunity. I will see you next week. And in the meantime, stay proud.